All right. So thanks for having us along. Smart Beaches reached out to us a year or so ago and about getting together their data and working on some smart solutions for the lifeguards. So we came up with this concept called LARA, so Lifeguard Activity Reporting System. So just quickly, who's Three Crowns Technologies? We're an Australian technology software company. We started with CoasterWatch in 1998, it's a long time ago. We started CoasterWatch. We have been around about 20 years, based on the Gold Coast. We specialize in remote and automated environmental data using video and sensors. And we work with Australian lifeguards, lifesaving universities and councils, creating tech solutions for the beach environment. We provide full stack solutions. So from hardware on the beaches, like you can see that image for Surf Lifesaving Queensland in the top right there, to networks, data management, software application solutions that are already used for enterprise grade. So the Smart Beaches project, it's kind of like a story of two challenges we saw it as. The first one is the data challenge to solve first. Like this really cool drawing that Tony's team at Smart Beaches developed kind of gives a picture of their vision. And on the right-hand side there, you can see all the smart technologies they wanted to deploy. So you're talking about CCTV video, counting crowds. You're talking about weather data, GPS tracking, lifeguard activity. They want to record lifeguard activity, and IoT sensors. The list goes on, and it's ever expanding these days. So the problem is that many tech systems, disparate systems across the internet, how do you manage them? If you have all these disparate systems, you end up with an inability to actually manage and drive value for all this cost outlay and installation you're putting in there. So the concept is really important. One you see is the Iceberg. So integrated environmental data distributed across geographical areas. What you see at the top, that's used is really a fraction of what tech and experience and expertise is needed to actually make it work. And this is probably one of the most important concepts I want to get across to this this conference is, if you don't know, if you can't see below the surface, you don't know. So if you're not an expert, it's really hard to understand the size of the actual iceberg and the problem. So how we approach all these issues, integrated environmental data, is we use this philosophy called an environmental data pyramid. I've changed to iceberg just for this presentation, but you can see that blue line above the waterline. They're user solutions. So they're the apps, they're the things that people see, the things you log into and actually use. So that's what you see above the water in this iceberg kind of scenario. Below the water, the technology stack is very complex, and it's what you don't see, and it's only getting more complex. We break it down into layers. On the left-hand side, you can see that there's two main categories of layers, the foundation layers and the knowledge layers. The bottom layer is the real world layer, so the acquisition of data. So this can be CCTV cameras, it can be water buoys, weather data, IoT sensors, all that stuff that was listed in the Smart Beaches diagram. It can also be lifeguards. And this is data that can come from anywhere in the real world. If it's connected to the internet, it can be ingested, it can even be uploaded manually or typed in. The next layer, transmission, is a really important layer as well. How do you get all that data up into the cloud for use? There's many, many different ways, and that's a whole industry by itself. Storage of that data. So how are you going to store and manage that data in a secure, flexible, and scalable way? The next layer up is aggregation. So we're getting into knowledge layers. How do you manage that data for your organization? How do you create so there's valuable outputs? And then learning and data science. It's where you get into the fun stuff, the machine learning, all the things that sit on top of that data. So basically, in terms of LARA and Smart Beaches, like I said, Three Crowns Technologies kind of exists and works below that waterline in the Iceberg. So we have a product called EnviroComms. It's a data management platform. It does everything below the water, absolutely everything. We've been in development for 15 years. It's in operation. It's quite advanced, and we deployed this with the Smart Beaches guys. As soon as you establish this EnviroComms system and take care of under the water, then you can build all the applications on top. And for this instance, that tip of the iceberg is the project we've been working on recently, the LARA app. So the data challenge, the first part of that challenge is solving the data problem, centralization. So this is EnviroComms. This is just a screenshot I took this morning from a simple dashboard that I made for Tony and his team at Smart Beaches. So what EnviroComms is doing real-time data centralization integration from any source. So basically you can see here, we've got the cameras coming in from Redhead and Blacksmith. We've got temperature coming in from the bomb, sea temperature from MHL, wind from the bomb, wind direction, people counting that's running an algorithm on the beach, people counting at a different beach, offshore swell from NOAA, or I'm not even sure, and etc. So you can see that the problem of actually collecting and managing your data and getting it onto one screen and one place is solved with EnviroComms. So here's some other just simple screenshots, probably all intrigued on what else you can do. That's just further down in the dashboard. You can graph and correlate all your data across time or in real time. You can explore your data sets. You can see here you've got, I've just thrown together a second ago and grabbed a screenshot of the Bureau of Meteorology forecast. And I've just, the blue line is the wind forecast in kilometers, and the orange is the people count that was captured over the last, since March 2. And these are just tables of raw data. So raw data is very important and very, very core to the system. And data practices around managing timestamping and ensuring there's data integrity is really important. And this is the simple table views of your data. And then you have this section here where you can manage your video streams or your cameras. So you might have, Smart Beaches has 2 that we have plugged in the system. We've got clients that have 30, 50, and they're all different types of cameras. But because we've got that system below the waterline set up, we can just plug them in, and they can come from anywhere. They can be our cameras, they can be owned by clients, they can be anything. And then you can manage them right there live. So then challenge 2, which is kind of the fun stuff, now we're past the boring IT stuff, is creating a lifeguard tool. So this is kind of a concept we're working on. We named it LARA, and the 5 challenges we wanted to aim to address to start were: 1, deliver important data to lifeguards that improves their decision making. So you see there's the picture of those guys at Lake Macquarie on the beach standing there. I don't want to make a product, or I don't think it's worthwhile making a product which turns them into the people below. Like, that just defeats the purpose of technology. Technology should be basically invisible, and it should work in a way that improves their ability to do their job and save lives. So we wanted to make sure that we reduce lifeguard administration duties, not add to it, automate beach information use and technology. So all those new technologies that are out there, we want to bring them in for the lifeguards in an invisible way. We also wanted to digitize and centralize all that lifeguard data. It was really interesting watching what Kalani was saying and the use of their app. We have a similar app with the Queensland state government for the fisheries. And the actual problems of rolling that out day to day operationally is very, very different to the actual just the concepting and building of it. But getting all that data in one spot is really valuable for our managers. Number 5 was to build a product that lifeguards want to use. If you don't build, I come from a background of Coastal Watch, ran Coastal Watch for 8 years. If you don't build something, technology that is easy to use and people want to use, like, you're pushing shit uphill, right? Like, you want the software to be attractive. You want it to be pull people in and for them to just be stoked on it, basically. So how we approached application design, we look at jobs to be done. That's the easiest way to boil it down. Our design and development phase of LARA, we focused on categorizing the jobs of lifeguards do with Tony's help. And you categorize the jobs to be done in journeys. So a journey is like a group of jobs. So below you can see 4 simple journeys that we've started with our design to basically guide our design. One is preparation. So I'm a lifeguard, I'm getting ready, I'm preparing for work. What are the jobs I have to do? I have to get ready for work, I have to review conditions and hazards and know what I'm getting into. 2, I have to start work. I have to log on, I have to open a beach, to set the beach up, and I have to file a conditions report for my bosses. 3, I have to file incidents during the day. Stuff happens. That's what I'm there for. Log rescues, first aid, enforcements, and etc. And then at the end of the day, I have to end my shift as a journey. So I have to close the beach, file a report, make sure all the data collected for the day is sent to head office and that kind of stuff. So let's take a quick spin on, got a bit of a flow concept demo I can show you. If I can get it going.
All right, Russell, do it quick.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so this is a journey. I'll log in. So basically the concept is this is a private application. So all the lifeguards at Lake Macquarie or any council can log in and see all their beaches. So this is a conditions report. See your beaches, see your cameras, just like everyone's used to using Surfline, Coastal Watch, or whatever app you use. You might want to quickly log in, spin around. This is all private data coming from Lake Macquarie Smart Beaches. So you see it's a little bit different from public apps. You got your camera, but down here you got who's on duty. You got the latest crowd estimate. You've got a log of how many incidents have happened in a day. And then you've got things like weather and risk. So the risk forecast based on the algorithms set up in the system based for that organization. What's the risk? You can see it's red at 2 p.m. I want to click on that, see why. And then just normal data that lifeguards will be wanting to look at: swell, wind, tide, pollution, etc. Now, then I'll get into the journey of starting my shift, right? So go into my shift, and then I've got all the beaches I'm able to start work at. I'm going to start work at Redhead. So I'll check in. You sure you want to log in? Yep. Okay, I've started my shift. I'm now down at the beach. I might have already set up the flags or something. I want to update the beach. I set it to open. I estimate the crowd. I look here, the camera's saying there's 80 people through the algorithm, but I reckon it's bullshit. I reckon it's 200, so I put 200. I list all the hazards. I drop the flags. I'm going to make them the same setup as yesterday. I'm going to save that. Okay, this is all on a mobile phone, by the way. They're pulling it out of their pocket, doing it on the fly. Now the beach is open. Everyone across the whole council knows the beach is open. Lifeguards at other beaches know the live information, what's going on at that beach if they want to log in and have a look. Okay, now during the day, the journey of logging incidents, you click a red button, you might open your phone, the yellow button, open your phone, go, okay, what incident happened? Well, we just did a rescue. I'm kind of in the middle of it, so I'll complete later, but it's now timestamped and it's logged, right? So all the data that you would expect just to tap, add photos, but also cam footage is automated and captured as soon as you tap that photo. So I'm going to end there. There's a whole bunch of other stuff I can show you, but it gives you kind of idea of what we're trying to achieve on top of that key data set of Envirocoms.
Excellent. Thank you, Russell, so much. I mean, I think the integration that you have with not only collecting data, but also linking it with all those other things is exactly the direction that someone like me as a researcher would want to see, because not only will it be helpful for the lifeguards, but also on the back end, we can pull that data out and do all sorts of new analysis that previously has been unattainable. So awesome work. Thank you so much.